Hey, what's up everybody on YouTube? What's going on? And I thought I'd make this video for those of you guys who might not already know, but Davey, one of the guys on the development team, has just posted a thread regarding some changes that are probably going to be made to the Oracle very, very soon. Now, this, as you guys can tell at the top right, that says 15 hours ago, so this is a little bit late. I'm a little tardy here, but you know, I thought I'd make this video anyways if you guys haven't already found out or haven't heard about the newest changes to Protoss, specifically the Oracle. Now, the patch hasn't gone live as of this video, but I'm just going to go ahead and go through what they're considering changing, because everybody knows right now the Oracle is mostly considered the most lackluster unit. So let's go ahead and go through this right now. Revelation, same as before. Alright, so that's fine. Number 2, they're going to get a Pulsar Beam, which it's kind of like the other beam that they had before, which you never really saw. I never saw it, at least when I casted a bunch of Protoss games. But now they get a beam that does 20 damage per second, so I believe that's a lot more than what the damage before was, which I think it was something minuscule, like 3, and you get like 3 minerals a second. You don't get the minerals anymore. It just does 20 damage per second, and it drains while channeling with an auto. It's auto-castable as well. So I believe here, reading through this, it says, we feel that Pulsar Beam is better as a core harassing ability compared to Entomb. This ability makes better use of the unit's main traits of fast mobility plus low durability, and doesn't have Entomb's biggest issue of forcing almost the whole army to stay at the mineral line. So from this paragraph, it seems that they're going to remove Entomb and replace it with Pulsar Beam, and I'm actually all for that. The Entomb was kind of a weird spell that I didn't really think promoted too much of micro, nor did it really make the game more interesting to watch. It's just like, oh, you've got Entomb coming, so now I've got to bring my whole army back to deal with that. But the Pulsar Beam now, it's a beam that does 20 damage per second. That's a pretty significant amount. So if the Oracle flies in and starts pulsaring your structures, say a Zerg player who has a natural hatchery that's morphing, I'm assuming can hit a building that's morphing, that's pretty annoying, and you actually have to deal with that. Also, you know, it can fly in and damage your structures or whatever in your main base, so that is something that can be pretty effective, because it does 20 damage a second now. I think it's a lot more interesting than Oracle, than the Oracle's first Entomb. Anyways, going on here, just testing HD's reading ability. Hopefully I don't stumble too much. Not only that, we feel this ability has a much greater skill differentiation depending on how well the ability is used. Okay, so basically what I said. Entombs, no matter who uses them, had pretty much the same effect. Whereas Pulsar Beam will greatly reward players who are able to pay close attention and not lose the oracles while quickly moving around all over the place in order to harass the opponent's base. I think I did that pretty well. Alright, so that basically recaps what I said. Now, the next ability is actually really interesting, and they're going to give the Oracle a Time Warp ability, which creates a warp field at the target location that reduces enemy ground units' movement speed by 50%. Now, before I go into the paragraphs here, just think about the possibilities. You can then warp field, say you're attacking a natural expansion, you can warp field the ramp at the main and make it harder for units to come defend the natural. Effectively, you can even use warp fields to cut off reinforcements. You can use warp fields, I'm assuming you can use warp fields in the mineral line as well to slow down workers and their ability to mine. And obviously workers, I believe they're considered a ground unit, and in Brood War they were considered like a hovering ground unit, but I'm pretty sure warp field will affect workers and their mining ability. So that actually, it's kind of like Entomb, I guess, but it's not as annoying if you get my drift. You don't have to build a whole bunch of crawlers or turrets to deal with it. We'll see how this Time Warp ability works, but I feel like it really makes the Oracle more of a late game unit that you actually will make and play with, because you can start to drop warp fields just in huge battles as well. You could just drop it over a huge army, prevent them from retreating, and just kind of mess up with the whole AI of the game during a battle. So very interesting with the Oracle, and I'm sure now it will have a lot of uses in the late game. So let's go ahead and read through and see what Blizzard thinks about this. we were aiming for a spell that gets us two main things with this last spell. One was something players can use in combination with Pulsar Beam, that's a new ability, when harassing the opponent's base. So you can, I guess, you know, Pulsar Beam a structure, drop time, or maybe drop Time Warp first, and then Pulsar Beam a structure. So the opponent, when they come to hit your Oracle, they have to move through the Oracle's Time Warp field, or you could just Time Warp the workers, the enemy workers, and harass them that way. Continuing on here, second was something Protoss players can use in combination with their army. We feel this meets both requirements, and like I said before, now Protoss kind of have it's like a poor man's fungal growth, if you will. It doesn't necessarily fungal them. I guess it's more akin to like massive concussive shell, or no, actually it's Queen's Ensnare basically from Brood War. The Ensnare ability from the old Queen was just an AoE snare, and now Protoss have an AoE snare. That is, I think, great. Think about Charge Out Archon now. You don't have to worry about enemy Terran using Marine and Marauders kiting you all the time. You just drop that Pulsar Beam, not the Pulsar Beam, what am I saying here? Drop the, yeah, kill a random bunker in the map. Drop a Time Warp field on the ground and prevent the Terran from retreating. Actually, that could just be game-breaking against BIOS, so we'll see how that works. And continuing on, one thing we're discussing with Time Warp is if it should also be a time-altering spell for timed life units as well. And that's pretty interesting. In this scenario, it would have an additional component that speeds up the timer on timed life units such as Locusts, Infested Terrans, or Mules. So it seems that Time Warp not only slows down things, but it also speeds up things with a timer on it, like anything that expires after a certain amount of time. So now it makes Locusts last much less. Yeah, longer? Is that the right word to say? Yeah, they don't last as long. I wonder how long Time Warp lasts for, because if it's an ability that goes around the Oracle, you could just leave the Oracle right over a field of Swarm Hosts and the Locust would never reach your army, so that's interesting. And obviously, you can use it on Mules, which has a double effect now on Terran players. So that's interesting. One current plan is to patch in this initial ability as fast as possible and continuing discussion, gathering feedback, yada yada, regarding the second component. So what they're planning to do here, I believe, is implementing the first section of Time Warp immediately, and that patch could be coming in, it could be coming in right now, for all I know. So by the time that you guys are watching this video, it might already be here. Basically, that means, so the first component of the spell will be here, but not the second component with the existence of units like Infested Terrans and Locusts or whatnot. Oracle now feels like a unit that you build a few of and harass throughout the course of the whole game. Please let us know your thoughts, and when the Oracle patch goes out, please take your time to play with it. Thanks. Alright, so that's all I really had to say about that. I know that was really long for a very small change, but I thought you guys, if you haven't seen this already, I think it's a potentially big change, and it's interesting because Blizzard's really going into detail here about a unit that the community so far hasn't really been too thrilled about, and I think now Protoss have something that they can really play around with. That Time Warp ability is a huge game changer. So this should be pretty damn interesting, guys, and I'm gonna try to keep you guys more up to date with, you know, StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm developments as they go on. As I said before, I'm not always right on the dot. This is 15 hours late, but for those of you guys on YouTube who haven't found out about it already, hope you enjoyed. Of course, more Heart of the Swarm casts coming as I get them. Hope you guys enjoyed, and this is HD, signing out.